we did a
Correct.
strategic initiative with the local high school, Mojave High School, where I was a department chair, uh, and also became a business teacher, where we developed a holistic model on how to have all the different various uh, CTE programs on campus work together around a
Hmm.
Horizon Innovative Learning project. It was very successful, and we also had a contract with the city of North Las Vegas to expand that work within the larger community. And we were able to leverage all that data and all those lessons learned into launching a $2 million STEM center with Nevada Partners, one of the premier nonprofits in the community. And it was funded by CDBG dollars, HUD dollars, and we train everybody in the community from vertical farming, 3D printing, drones,
Hmm.
solar, cybersecurity, esports. We really have a micro enterprise focus in the model because we understand that the
Nice.
future of work, 50% of it is going to be independent contractors. The
Hmm.
STEM economy is the gig economy, right? So,
Right. And these young people do not know how to be there, how to run their own business or
yes,
ask for what they're worth. And then
yes,
what
right.
happens if they're not treated right? What resources do you have? Because a lot of them, you are not gifted with that information when you go through high school. And a lot of at risk high school, so I'm trying to think of the right word. That's the high school students. I mean, you need lift. Everybody needs lift. And if
Yeah,
you don't have that connection where your father or your mother is like, hey, go work, for so and so doing such and such, that has broken down. And what happens when we have youth that do not have the capacity to earn dollars and contribute to the economy? Then you start seeing a lot of negative things happen, and the good loses focus. And so now it's, we're taking a deep breath, and we're starting with a new administration,
yes,
and we will see how that unfolds in the beautiful state of California.
yes.
So it's but that is one thing, like, for okay, a little bit about myself. So I am a strategic, technically I am a there's I'm an associate government program um analyst, and then we put a layer on that. I'm a strategic business advisor. And where's my focus now? Now I'm focusing on program management. So drafting the programs, writing the standards, getting it to pass, just the various checks and balances within a state of California. So it can drop for, public comment for the 30 days, and then hopefully all is good. The chief can sign, and voila, there we are. And
Perfect.
Wow.
before I was
Congratulations.
in the
Congratulations.
oh, I
Congratulations.
am so happy. I am so happy. I sold it. You just with partnerships, I can do it, but oh, it's not my calling in life.
Wow.
It's
Well,
I pass. The
she's being
all
very
that.
demure. She has been through all of the levels of governance within the Department of Industrial Relations, which really is Department of Apprenticeship Standards for my purposes. But she has really been an advocate and a champion of the things that I'm trying to do, which is really being at the guerrilla level and getting into the hood, getting into the communities in
Hmm.
LA, South LA. And I can't tell you, Melvin, without her support, spiritually, I don't know if I could even attempt to continue doing what I'm doing because people have just really knocked me down for trying to do something a
Hmm.
little different, um,
Right.
challenging challenging the status quo in the pre-apprenticeship programming for which we're trying to get, really up to speed on what can we do to make this um, pre-apprenticeship programming to make it something that begins to create the funnel for all the things that we don't have as a smart pipeline at
Hmm.
the earliest possible age. So Melvin is really looking on trying to figure out how to help us with pre-apprenticeship. And so Renee, if you could bless us with anything you know about programming in this new area,
Oh,
because
I
yeah,
can. It's
yeah.
excuse me. A lot of things are changing, and pre-apprenticeship is one of them. So within apprenticeship, you have two sides of the house. You have what they call They're calling it legacy now, which is otherwise known as the trades. You're a carpenter, you're a cement mason, you do tile, whatever along that lane. And then you have the AWI, the innovative apprenticeship workforce innovation. So we do everything that's not familiar. What does that mean? That means you could be an apprentice for, it could be digital marketing. It could be, oh my gosh,
A teacher.
there's marketing, there's a business. I have people who want to do it with in the legal arena, with attorneys, with legal assistants. There is actually, in my sector is business services, the number one occupation is hospitality
Hmm.
of everything else. And it's so there's some of the outliers, but with hospitality, that's where it's just we're really seeing people come up to the plate and say, okay, I have this program, I want to service this area. And for example, like I had one, and she's looking to move into the high schools, but she's all the way up in Northern California. They don't even have apprenticeships for any of these kinds of things. And it actually kind of brings me back to doing a California road trip, and I was with my girlfriend. We were kind of looking around as we're driving down and back to LA, and it's like it would really be hard to be a teenager here because the only thing you're looking at is to punch a cash register or bag merchandise. There just was not any scaffolding for anything higher except for the people that have been in the community for a long time and own the land
Mm,
and therefore they own the opportunities.
mm, 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 mm. So,
So it's
yeah.
as I am I'm in transition. I'm officially official on the 20th. And I know that kind of what's spitting out there is what we're going to do with pre-apprenticeship. What I will say though, what I was looking at was on the legacy side, like they would have a pre-apprenticeship and they might call it they used a really broad name for it so that you could take it and someone going through that program could then plug into many different tracks because you're
Okay.
looking what do it's every single employer out there ask for right now. They're asking for the soft skills.
Okay. So. Oh, I found
Oh,
a
I know
good
I'm speaking to
word.
you. I mean, yeah,
Okay,
I've
I
got
mean, yeah,
hands.
we haven't church. Yeah. Okay. So look, because that's like near and dear to my heart, like the foundation of we call it career exploration at our
Mm-hmm,
STEM center. So we're real big on project-based learning,
mm-hmm.
right? And we in project-based learning with career readiness skills baked in because I want to prepare you for the future of work. I need to prepare you for project-based work. And it's
Yes,
a
yes.
mindset from, I mean, as soon as day one, when you sign up to our program, we give you a scope of work. That's
Mm-hmm.
day one. I don't even want you to feel like you're in a pro, like you're here, you're at work, here's a scope of work, here's your deliverables, because one of the
Mm-hmm.
major skill sets is continuous learning. You have
Yes.
to have the capacity. We all take jobs where we're continually learning as we're on the job, right?
Mm-hmm.
So learning is baked into the job. So I don't need to make you feel like you're in school or you're in a struct, right? You got to get technical
Well,
skills, you got to get
step it
trained.
back.
Yeah.
Why do you even go to school? You're going because the point of graduating is that you're going to get off your parents' dime and you're going to, I mean, okay, I was born in the 60s, but it's like with that lens, what did you do? You typically did what your father did,
Yep.
or you married and you were a lady who did lunch, but it's, um, you didn't have, I mean, now, ooh, these kids, they're on their cell phones. They don't understand that you have to look up. They don't understand that if you're being paid, someone is going to ask something of you. What are your
Yes.
deliverables? They're not going to give you money just because you put your hand out.
It's like it's like imagine. I'm a big on analogy. So it's imagine it would be crazy to throw somebody in a competitive basketball game, and all you ever did prior to the game to
Hmm.
prepare them was to talk to them about basketball. You never picked the ball. You never picked the basketball up. They never shot the
Okay.
ball. They never did nothing from a kinesthetic way to
Mhm.
experience basketball. All they did was you had conversations with them about basketball, and then you wonder why they're unsuccessful when they get into the game and they're overwhelmed and they don't know what's going on.
It
Does that
does,
make
and I'm
sense?
just thinking too because we're in our daughter's in ninth grade, so it's special ed LA Unified, and my husband and I yeah, we have ferocious negotiations, and we get positive outcomes with it, but it's you to have any traction, you need to know the language. You
Yes.
really need to do that. And even my meeting before this, it's like we've got different sections, but it's like, okay, what words are you using?
Yes.
What are the definitions?
Right.
Where are we separate? Where are we together? Now, first quarter next year, you should start seeing the applications for the Koya grants come out, and you're going to want to apply for a planning grant. I don't think for an implementation, you haven't had the time to build an apprenticeship yet. So take advantage of a planning grant. They have planning grants for pre apprenticeship, they have planning grants for apprenticeship. And the best advice I can give anyone is to read and follow the directions.
Right. And guys, Alex is coming on from South Bay Workforce Investment Board. This meeting was really set up for him to meet Melvin and talk about
Okay.
where we are. No, but I want you to stay on if you can to help us figure out where can we take where we are now in terms of getting our people uploaded to the DAS board for apprenticeship as well as pre-apprenticeship. We're like 6 months behind because our
Mm-hmm.
good friend
At
Oscar
least.
has been trying to learn this and hasn't gotten us any
No.
further because that's why I'm bringing Melvin is to help us build capacity. So,
Well, and your friend Monica is now the partnership lead for business services, agriculture, which would
let me
be
bring him in because
campus.
he's part here.
Oh,
But yeah,
sorry.
yeah. So here we go. Here's Alex because I want to introduce. I don't know if you've ever met Alex on a Zoom call, but
I don't think I have.
he's been on some of the scan
Yeah,
meetings.
I've seen the name.
Yeah,
Definitely.
he's been one of the
Hi,
major proponents
Alex.
of scan.
Hi there, good morning. Good
Morning.
Good
morning.
morning.
Good morning.
Is it Renee?
Yes, it is.
Hi Renee. Hey Melvin. Hey there,
Hi.
Kevin.
How you
Hey,
doing?
go on there,
Alex?
Alex.
Happy holidays, everybody.
Hey, happy holidays, man.
Thank
So
you.
man, you are the star of the show, man. You're the main feature.
Oh boy. Well, thanks for letting me push it back a couple time slots because yeah, I just got off a meeting for an employer signing up for DAS and um DOL grants. So yeah, I'm glad to be here.
Right.
Thank you. How
Man,
are we
so
doing?
if you can give us a deep, background on, what you do at the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, what is the South Bay Workforce Investment Board, and what role you guys play in helping people like us who have registered pre-apprenticeship and apprenticeship programs get get our program stood up so that we can actually start to get to work. So take it way back to where you begin thinking about how we can learn more about how you can help us help ourselves.
Okay. Great. Yeah, my name is Alex Kabalu. I'm working in the Special Projects Development Department here at South Bay WIB, and we're located in Hawthorne. And we have a certain number of cities that we service with our One Stop and America's Job Centers, for people looking for jobs. But my department specifically is working in a pre-apprentice and apprenticeship, as Kevin mentioned. We have a number of grants from DIR, from DAS, right? We have the
The
Koya and the
SAEI and the Koya.
SAEI.
Yep, yeah.
That's right. We also have DOL grants. There's the America Building Apprenticeships grant.
Mm-hmm.
We also have some private funding from
Mm-hmm.
foundational funding that helps us to do the pre-apprenticeships. Um, our main sectors are advanced manufacturing. We have healthcare, IT, clean jobs, um, and biosciences. I may be forgetting. How could I forget? Arts, media, and entertainment. Okay. Last but not least. And so that's where I have known you, Kevin. Melvin, could you please introduce yourself before I get too far in?
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
my name is Melvin Valentine Jr. I'm originally from Southern California. Me and my wife moved to Las Vegas to start a consulting company, Valentine Communication, that's focused on developing a national model around economic development, workforce development. Our whole model is that you have to develop the land, the people, and the economy all in one strategic, holistic manner, especially with the pace of innovation. And with Vegas being 65% automation, highest rate in the nation and one of the worst school districts in the nation, we felt like this was the perfect place to unlock our social architecture model. And it's gotten us already on a national stage. We reported out to the White House HBCU Economic Development Cluster, and we're working with their STEM cluster. And that's actually how we met Kevin through that leadership role from the White House HBCU side and his passion and zeal for pre-apprenticeship programs and apprenticeship programs. That's part of our national model. We want to be able to identify federal funds from CTE, from apprenticeship, right, Department of Labor, HUD funds, and we package them all up together and show how they need to work together in a very holistic ecosystem. We actually, in our national model, we also have EDA funds, community economic development strategies that when you kind of package them together, it unlocks more philanthropy, more opportunities. So being able to come back to work in California and bring in some best practices and lessons learned through a grassroots organization like Kevin's and the work that he's doing, it was a dream come true.
Wow. Thank you, Melvin.
That's a really great introduction. Thanks, Melvin. Appreciate that. Las Vegas. All right. Great. And I hope, wish you the best of luck in your endeavors there. Um, Yeah, so we do have funding available for apprenticeships. And if they're in one of our sectors, we can attach an employer and sign them up, right? Just like Kevin has signed up. Kevin has availed himself of funding from the State Apprenticeship Equity and Expansion Innovation Act grant, the SAEI. Renee,
Mhm.
that's your wheelhouse there, I'm
Yep.
guessing, right? So
Not not
he's
directly, but I've read grants for it.
okay, there
So
you go. Yes. Are you Kevin's representative at DAS?
it depends on what he's doing.
Okay.
So I because I'm even moving myself over into the program management side of the house, and that's happening like now.
Mm,
More by next Friday, it will be officially official. And so my sector is everything that falls within business services. But my partner, who's over on the partnership side and looking to develop apprenticeships and get the information, the basic information, get the key stakeholders attached to each other. That is Monica. Oh gosh, her last name is with a
Zachary.
Z.
Zachary.
Zachary, yes.
oh,
And
okay.
Kevin knows her. And she is actually a DAS representative for partnerships in business services, agriculture, and arts, media, and entertainment.
Okay.
So we're kind of, we all work together. We circle around in different areas. Kevin, literally, I was finished with the meeting. Kevin plucked me and said, are you available? And it's like, okay, let me take it off of the text and put it in my computer and get that going and see what you're doing. But yes, so in terms of not information, the funding that's available. I know definitely in terms of DAS, we've even had the conversations, are you taking programs? Are you introducing them to South Bay Web so that there can be a potential partnership? There can be an actuation of grant funding and that you have that grant funding from many different sources, not all from DAS, but you also work with Department of Labor. And I would say, and. Is that
hmm
about correct?
That's exactly correct. Yeah. There's also we have new newish grants from the DEO in LA. And that's through Brick Foundation. Kevin, you're
Oh,
familiar
yes.
with Brick Foundation. Um, they have one of them is an ARPA grant. And so that's the newest one. We're working on that. And the other one, well, actually, there's three now. Wow. One that we've been working on already is RERP. So the regional recovering grant. And then there's also the workforce accelerator fund. So we're working on ways to recruit and enroll individuals into this from the community colleges. That's our first stop. And then if we're able to, find others who can, use these funds through, the apprenticeships, or even if they're just doing pre-apprenticeship. RERP, for example, someone is working through BRIC. BRIC Foundation is an entertainment coalition, nonprofit that strives to increase equity and equality in jobs in Hollywood, basically. And those stem from, they can be animation, video games, production, production of TV and film. So there are so many different employers attached to that. Just the other day, we found out that it's okay for DAS. They approved that a person who is working part-time hours can now be an apprentice, which was a tough one for that
Mhm.
economy, for that particular industry, because there's not, I wouldn't say stable. It's not that it's not stable, but it's contractual. And so, you're not like full-time, permanent
Hmm.
employee, because you're doing 1099 work and you're not doing W-2 full-time contracted work,
Ooh,
That's
right?
nice.
with apprenticeship, you're supposed to be W-2, not 1099. If
Right,
it goes
right.
through DAS, that's a
Um,
hard stop for us.
that's still the way it is, but I
Okay.
believe now you can be a W-2 part-time employee. And
Okay, part time.
Yes,
yeah,
I think so because, like you said, it's one of those things I want to say pinged my ear, but they haven't. There's a lot of information that won't be disclosed until we hit the new year because people are changing policies and stuff are going to change starting with the new year.
okay. Well, I'll keep
Everything
my
is new.
fingers crossed too then.
I know.
Yeah. So that was good news for me, because I know that a lot of talks of, using these apprenticeships and getting them off the ground stall because of policy. And, if we can sort of find a middle ground or some leeway there, that would be really helpful. Um, but yeah, so Kevin and my journey, Kevin, you were the first partner that I really worked with on an invoice and getting information about your apprentices. That work has not stopped. I know that you have 6 to 7 new participants in your apprenticeship. You are registered in DAS. So right now we're trying to get Kevin signed up for Koya,
Hmm.
right?
We just spoke
And
about that. Yep.
great. Yeah. And for our grant, we're offering money for a training provider, which is
Hmm.
you, as well as an employer. So that's second. That's also you in this case, Kevin. And then the third one is directly to the uh, participant, to the employee, where we've written it up for $1,500 in supportive services for any costs that they incur, that they're buying things that get them to work or help them with their work.
Hmm. The
So
REO funds, right?
Okay, and I want to make sure
exactly,
it's $1,500
exactly.
Okay.
per person or per cohort.
That is an average of $1,500, or it can be up to $1,500 per person.
Okay.
And those are reimbursable expenditures
And for
that they can.
example, like is that transportation, computer,
Yes,
software?
sure,
Yeah, it's
Uh,
sure.
customized, so you can't
uh,
give a hard number
mm,
because
Right,
what Melvin needs is different from what Renee needs, which is different from what Alex needs. So we will have different
exactly.
costs, and actually even I'm probably not using the right term, but the cost center, like is it travel? Is it boots? Is it a textbook? What is it that
mm.
do they need a clean shirt to be
Hmm.
able to go
So
to
when
Hmm.
work?
you say reimbursable, Alex, you're saying the client has to pay for it first and then you reimburse the client, or
That's how we have it written up right now. Yeah.
oh, all right,
Mhm.
okay.
Yes.
Not to the program.
Um, Let me make sure, because we're still signing up our first, we haven't
Because
actually,
right, and
yeah,
I'm just asking
Yeah,
because
these are questions. Yeah.
given
right.
the knowledge, or rather the lack of knowledge that we're trying to address,
Hmm.
I would not have an expectation that that person knows anything other than there's a check with my name on it and how much is it for?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
that's what
that makes
that may
sense.
be where they're starting.
Yeah.
So
Mhm. Right. And I'm going to ask a question because some of my people in the past, their needs kind of exceed reimbursement to stay in the program and stay focused. What if a person with that 1,500 up to $1,500 has to leave their parents' home for whatever reason. They get kicked out and they find roommates. And right now, these young people are clustering together, three, four, five of them in one
Mhm.
place. Could they use some of that for housing?
We'd have to look at the approvable uses of the funds there. So
Okay.
that's all written out in the agreement.
I wonder if any of that would be picked up by Department of Rehab.
Mm, that's a good
And,
question.
Because
and
remember, if you're looking at someone, if they're justice impacted, I mean, anything with the opportunity youth, typically that's going to be, they would qualify for DOR services, and that may help give some leverage where you need it.
Yeah.
well, I mean, I have some baseline questions just to be as strategic as possible to help Kevin with this pipeline,
Hmm.
right? So, first question, from my understanding, when I talk to Kevin, right? So my language that we use is you have career pathways, which is okay, you're getting training and it's leading direct to employment. And then you have career exploration where we're building a funnel to get as many people exposed to the soft skills, the career readiness, the mindset, right? Start exploring different possibilities. And then from there, they connect to a pathway, right? So I may expose you to five different opportunities, right?
Hmm.
Right? Give you some skill assessment, give you some fundamental skill sets, right? Of soft skills. And then from there, you journey into a pathway where you go deep to train on the actual technical skill. And then you hop into employment. So
Right.
what I like about Kevin is real. He's on the career pathway side in my world, right? Kevin is already having, hey, come in here. I can get you to work and actually in the industry if you lock in with me, right, in 12 weeks, 8 weeks, however, I think it's 6 to 8 weeks, he
Six,
said,
eight.
right? And I can get you actually into an employer working on real world projects. But and Kevin can scale that operation, right? And get more, he needs a workforce. He needs more and more people that have that mindset, that skill set, so he can scale the operation. My job is going to be, I know, Kevin, if you need five soldiers that are ready to go to work after you train them on a technical skill in 8 weeks, right? I know my job then is I'm going to have to get you anywhere between 40 to 50 people in a career exploration funnel. Does that make sense? And I'm hoping that that career exploration funnel would be a pre-apprenticeship program that funnels X amount of students that are eligible, that are qualified, right? So we track their performance in the pre-apprenticeship, and the top are then referred to Kevin's apprenticeship program, right? So we may have 50 in a pre-apprenticeship, right? We may then refer, I don't know, 12, 15 to Kevin for their apprenticeship. And then out of that, we know the top five are going to get to work immediately. We can play with those numbers, but I'm just trying to say in general, am I tracking when it comes to California's policies, goals, and objectives with these funds?
Right. And to that point, Alex and I have been talking about this Koya landscape, and I asked him how many Koya applicants could we get that could actually become part of the apprenticeship to work opportunities we have. And you said it was capped at 15 for the first round for employment training reimbursement. Because I put in 30 in our application, and you said it's what down to 15 now for the
It
first round.
that really depends on our manager approval. So yeah, I guess it's case by case. There's no actual cap, but I know that we've done about seven in the past. We're about to do seven more, so I just kind of added those together, came up with 15.
Mhm.
And then I had a question though for Melvin about your career exploration pool.
Yeah.
What what are the ages of these folks? Are you looking at youth? Because you did mention school districts.
Well, based on what me and Kevin discussed, from my understanding, the pre-apprenticeship right now is for sophomores to seniors,
Okay, okay, got
high
it.
school. Is that accurate? Am I
Not correct. What Alex gave me it's 16 to 24 for Koya, right, Alex?
The
oh,
age
okay.
range is 16 to 24.
Right.
Okay.
But it can start at 16, which
Okay.
is 16, 17, 18-year-olds, 10th to 12th graders in high school. That's
Sounds like
where,
they could be sophomores and juniors, right? At 16 and
And
up. Sure.
well, one of the things that maybe the signals got crossed, one of the things I like about that, because we have a communiversity model where our STEM center is strategically partnered with UNLV. So what ends up happening is some are going to go directly into employment, but others need to go to college, right? So we need to have a career exploration funnel, right? We actually even work with the military, right? I'm
The,
working with
Mhm.
Major General John Warden, so I'm like, listen, what I don't want is you graduate from high school and you're lost in the sauce. That can't happen,
Yeah,
right?
where you have
Right.
empty hands.
Yeah, you need to when you graduate high school, you need to go to directly to a job,
Yep.
right? Be in that system. You need to go to the military or you
hmm
need to go to college.
Right.
Right.
Period.
The bank of
Communiversity.
mom and dad that
Bottom line, right, right.
keep
Like,
those
and
down.
that is what we can't keep
It's closed.
sending youth to the society that are not in no institution after
hmm
18. Like that's our biggest fundamental problem. So that's why we attack that system right there. We
hmm
have to have too many kids that graduate from high school and they're disconnected.
and to,
Disconnected youth. You know that. You know the national statistics. They're disconnected from society at that point,
Right.
right?
Right.
All it takes is a summer, especially in
Hmm.
Vegas. This is Sin City. All I tell my students, like, all you need is one summer and your whole life is on a completely different trajectory.
hmm
So, what are you doing after high school? So that's why
Yeah.
we really focus on that sophomore to senior situation.
Right. And the average, and great points. That's the first time I ever heard of the word communiversity. I love that. Get them on a track that gets them
Yeah.
contributing. But the average age of an apprentice right now in this country is 30 years old. So
Hmm.
anything to downward to young to get that lower, get them learning and get the word out that apprenticeships are good. They'll get you the jobs,
Hmm.
and
Well,
you
And
can
even
start
before,
earlier.
at least Trump is giving the appearance of support that it's
yes,
Trump is
going to
giving the
continue
appearance of
on from
support.
the
hmm
however it
yeah,
actualizes, I don't know.
no,
But
yeah,
at least that he is, looking to that support because people what they need to work, they need money,
hmm
but you don't get paid unless you have skills. How do you get the skills? Now, like I
hmm
know, okay, my daughter's with LA Unified, so I'm on the text and email outreach every day. And then my husband gets the phone calls and they're tapping on you like 4 times a day.
hmm
This is coming up. You need to, and they're really pushing hard to have engagement of the students and also parent awareness because her high school is a Title I high school. I mean,
hmm
like Kevin, I know you've got a footprint over at Hamilton, and that's a Title I school. And in fact, there was this, oh gosh, I've got an email somewhere, and they're going to take the uni high kids and send them over to Hamilton to have some big meeting that's good. They're going to talk about, I want to say vocational paths. I have to go back and look at that because that was
mm,
just in the last couple of days, and tomorrow is the last day of school.
right. Well, and Alex, the reason why I'm so interested in where we can introduce Koya to a marketplace of parents and faculty. I
Hmm.
hmm
now have somebody on joining my board who is the new school board elect for the district that I'm in, which happens to be the largest district of Black and Brown people who are
Hmm.
Okay.
underwater, Title
Okay.
One. Her
Yeah.
name is Shirlette Newbill Hindi. She was on the panel that you were at Heartbeat.
Sure. Sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
That's right.
she's been talking to Renee, and so her attack is that we have to really make sure that career technical education starts to allow Koya and all the pre-apprenticeship programs to connect with the CTE instructors, because if you go anywhere else, the instructors who are doing all the Common Core, they don't know what to do
They
other
hmm
don't
than
know.
what they're doing. But the
hmm
CTE people are the ones who have to embrace Koya.
Yeah.
And
You want
Right.
so,
the
Right.
subject matter experts,
right, so
and,
she's the
and you
one,
need that
yeah, so she's the
input.
one that's really going to be going after the CTE directorates to make sure that they understand that, pre-apprenticeship is coming in peace with resources, to help people
Well,
do career discovery.
the tactic that on that, because I used to do CTE, the tactic is the CTSOs, the Career Technical Student Organizations. So the CTE teacher has pressure on them to prop up these CTSOs. They're after school programs like DECA, like for, I don't know, have you ever heard of DECA? It's like a business
Hmm.
competition. It's like, right? So when I was teaching at Mojave High School, one of the worst schools in the worst school district in the nation, they told me that it's impossible to start a DECA team, right? And in my second year, we were state champions, right?
Hmm.
Like, so it's possible, right? But now, if you come in with a pre-apprenticeship program that is helping the structure of the CTSO, you're the teacher's best friend because you're helping their life, right? You're helping, yeah, and this is what I'm passionate about helping Kevin with. We're the bureaucrats, we know the system. When you talk to all these different agencies and different people, we have to speak their language to show them how we're going to check your box. When you're talking, right, everybody just wants to check their boxes, right? So you have to be able,
I just had a,
go ahead,
yes.
go ahead. Go ahead, go ahead.
No, I was going to say you are speaking to the actuation of what's happening right now. It's as simple as everyone can use the same acronyms, but what does it mean to you?
Yes.
Right,
Okay.
How
right,
does
Yeah.
it check my box?
right,
I got
right,
boxes to
Yeah,
check. Show
and
me how to check my boxes. Show me
and
what
right.
you
And
do
right,
checking my boxes.
believe
and,
in somebody,
and,
give
and
them that traction
right.
because they,
Man, this is a meeting. This is a master class on what we can do to help people who are
Hmm.
in pre-apprenticeship and
Mhm.
apprenticeship programs who want to scale in the
Yes.
direction of measurement of things that we can actually analyze and see, well, it didn't work, but let's see if we can retool. Or it did work, let's replicate. That's what I don't see is enough data and analytics within
Mhm.
DAS or the
Yeah, it's
Department of
not there
Labor
yet.
to figure out what people can do to, get some type of metric or roadmap to try and figure out what you can do for your community, for your constituents, and for your ability to attract job hires.
Well,
So,
I think a component is that nobody, my wife and I really took pride to sit outside of the system and study all the different federal sources and how they could work together. Most people don't know all these different sources that are floating in these communities. Like for example, the Kevin Hart Studio, CTE, every CTE the CTE district that has they have funding for transportation for field
Mhm.
trips, right? Like that they need to spend on
Yes.
taking the students to these type of experiences, right?
Yes.
And there's
Help them
somebody in
spend the
a
money.
department with the money trying to figure out how to spend down
Mhm.
those funds because they complain that there's not enough field trips being submitted to them to get these at-risk students exposed to these worlds because the teacher is responsible to set the field trips up. But if you're in the trenches every day teaching, right, you know what I mean? You're not doing that extracurricular, right? That's hard to
right,
do. So we come in with the field trip, mapped out schedules, ready to go. We're a dream come true now to CTE district, the school districts with CTE programs because they're like, we're checking all these boxes just by working with Kevin and his program.
right. And
Mhm.
guys, I know we're running short on time. So, Alex, this is what my ask is. I want to be able to do a real focused conversation with Melvin on helping us help Oscar and whatever he left off to get us set up so that we can actually operationalize Heartbeat because my
Yeah,
partners over at Kevin Hart's facility, they're ready to go. And I also have to, understand that they're job hirers and they're a real business. So I can't continue to do events without having any traction and understanding what I can do to get them closer to where they need to be, which is one, they're looking for some talent to hire.
yep,
Two, I have to justify even going in, to the building, turning on the lights and the water. And
Mhm.
yes,
so I haven't really had, this conversation with my people that are ready, but we got to get this show on the road, man. So
yep,
whatever help Melvin can do to help us catalyze where we're short. And Alex has basically offered to help us with the paperwork. He helped
Yep.
me last year so that we can get a check, but we need to streamline the process. And again, no shade on Oscar. He's learning as he's learning, but it's the
Mhm.
learning curve is too severe
yep.
for us to
Yeah.
be wait. So
And
we need to get that on the road. And more importantly, like this Tuesday, we're doing a huge event. We're giving away 50 laptops with software from Microsoft, OpenAI, which has this Sora software, which is generative AI. It's really the biggest thing out. It just got licensed, launched. We're putting that software on laptops. We're not going to put them on this first 50 because we don't even know who these people are. We sent
Mhm.
out the link to Brotherhood Crusade we talked to yesterday, Vermont's Loss and Economic Development Corporation, to Allison, Brick
Uh-huh.
Foundation. They
Yeah.
sold out the laptops within, 30 minutes. And so those things, those laptops, those events, we have other corporations who want to use um, our momentum to do events that bring in software, hardware, speakers, mentors, and potentially job people. So I want to be able to throw that out to Chris, your boss, about using Heartbeat as a place where we can do workshops and activities because I realize, that it's leverageable in a way where maybe I've never had this kind of magnet to draw people in. So think about, again, when Chris thinks about us, it's not Dakar anymore. It's Kevin Hart that we have to leverage.
Go after the
Noted.
stakeholders that will do something as a legacy piece. You have a
Yeah.
lot of older executives and they have their money. They're going to retire, but they
Yep.
want their name attached to the legacy piece.
There you
And it's
go.
like help them do that. And it was what was interesting too was my dad said go to the Rotary Club if you really want to get some of the
Hmm.
older people that will do something rather than, let's say, the Elks or some of the other ones. It's like go for the Rotarians.
Mm,
Mm, I like that. Okay, I
okay.
like that.
Okay.
That's
Everybody
wisdom.
knows somebody, but that legacy piece, what do you want in the end? Is, I mean, Kevin, how many years did it take for you to now put your name up,
Period.
on the marquee? But you find we've got you
Yeah,
now.
Yeah.
yeah,
We see you.
Yeah.
yeah.
Well, so Alex, I'd like to do another focus meeting, but the goal for us right now is to leverage Kevin Hart. I mean,
Okay.
we can't do any more. He's given us his name, his building. Um, he's got jobs for us. I have to, I don't know what else I can do, and the most important thing is we're looking for the right people who want to be closer to the standard of folks who are willing to hire them and not just train them and certify them to death. So that's what I'm looking for. So, um,
Absolutely.
so Melvin, I'm gonna give you Alex information, and maybe there's a way for you guys to figure out how to get all of those pieces that are missing for us to get the initial grant funding that he has for us. It's been sitting there for 2, 3 months now, and we haven't really gotten anywhere closer than I think we signed an agreement, but there's like 3 or 4 grants that we're qualified for that we haven't gotten. So I want to see if Melvin can help in that area. And then also, last question, when the AIF or the COIA grants become available again, you said, Renee, you said potentially January.
We're looking for it to be first quarter. Do we have an exact date or something? No, because everybody was holding their breath to see what this new administration is going to be. And then even where like Alex talking about money, it's like where there was a revise on even just the amount of money for the COIA, AIF, all those things, just as the economy started to tighten up really bad. But there's money to be had, and you're in the right place. You're talking to the right people. But I would be very truthful and tell you that a lot of actuation will happen more after New Year's.
Okay.
But
So, right.
talk
So,
to whoever you can
right,
talk to now.
Yeah,
right,
yeah.
right. So,
But
Alex,
your action is in
right.
January.
So Alex, what I'm actually reaching out to you saying that we'd love to have the South Bay Workforce Investment Board as a potential partner in all our outreach and all the things we're doing because people need to figure out what can they do to become a force multiplier. And I'd love to work with the Brick Foundation. They haven't really accepted me yet. Um, I don't think that they know all the things we're trying to do, but we need a broker. And I think South Bay Workforce Investment Board could bring
Mm-hmm.
Brick and Allison closer into working as kind of an open source situation as we can be. So, because we're just too small, but too big to fail.
Yeah, I'm happy to
Yeah.
help you strategize towards that, Kevin. Yeah,
Yeah,
I,
yeah,
I I've
that's what.
seen it. Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because the SAE, I mean, there are some big deliverables that I know Chris is, looking to meet. And even as far as DAS, it's we have that obligation to make people aware of, have this connection. And
Hmm.
now, Melvin, I don't think you know, but I know Kevin knows on our page, we actually have a full funding page. And where it's a link, they're live links, and it goes directly to the different areas, and you can start looking at how you can get the funding. You want to get on that on the employment training panel list so that you can leverage some of those dollars back.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
That's actually a big
Right.
opportunity.
And Alex, why I have you on the I'm not you're not on the hook, but is there a scenario where we could partner with South Bay Web on a grant that's maybe outside of your purview of the things that you currently do? Because we're meeting some people who are really interested in workforce who have never been there before, like the National Science Foundation. Are you familiar with them, Alex?
Sure, NSF. Yeah, I think National Science Foundation funds a lot of the labs that we work with,
Mhm.
the incubators. Sure.
Yeah. Right. So there's
Yeah,
a workforce grant that's coming up in February.
Mhm.
But it's more research based than anything else. They're looking for a lot of data and a lot of things that could help them with their mission. But I met with those folks and they loved what we did this past Friday. So they're looking for a one or two sheeter from us before we even apply for the grant for workforce for
I
a
see.
National Science Foundation. So I want to be able to, attack people like them, the Department of Defense. I think you guys are already working with the Department of Defense.
Mhm.
But we're working with DoD on a grant. They're funding an outreach engagement program is called STEM Chat. So those are the kind of things that we'd like to try to partner with people, and again make sure that we're not leaving any collaboration um, you know on the table or off the table. So that's what Melvin I think may be able to help with.
Yes. I'm excited about that.
I'm I'm going
Absolutely.
to actually throw two things out on the table. First, you might want to identify who is a qualified applicant. Identify who is that person
Yeah.
that you want to connect. And then also, what is that measured outcome and how are you measuring what that outcome is?
Yeah.
Because you have that direction within your program.
Yeah.
It's
Wow.
the lovely logic tree, from way back when we were on school.
Yeah.
Wow. Man, well, this has been great. I know Alex has got to move to the. I'm
Yeah,
going to be on the scan meeting at 12 noon.
it
Are
was
you going to be on?
canceled.
Was it canceled?
It was
Scan's been
canceled.
postponed until
Oh,
January. So
oh,
if
Yeah,
oh,
anybody got an invite, that's still
oh.
a
Okay,
remnant from, yeah, so there's no
right.
okay.
meeting at noon.
Ah, boy.
But I
Okay,
do have a hard stop at
okay,
11:30. We're
okay,
Yeah.
gonna head out
okay.
with Chris and Deborah.
Okay. All right. Well, let them know that we're open for any type of collaboration, as well as even hosting a workshop at Kevin Hart for all the people who want to know how to know what not to do and what to do. So
There
a
you go.
workshop for you.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you,
All right,
Kevin. It's
guys.
very nice
Thank
to
you.
meet you, Melvin.
Okay.
Good
All right.
luck to
Nice
you.
to meet you,
Nice to meet you,
everybody. Yeah.
Renee. Nice to see you again,
Bye-bye.
Renee. Bye
Okay.
bye,
Okay.
everybody.
Yes.
All right. Thank
Happy
you, guys.
holidays.
All right now. Bye bye.
Bye-bye.